No, I think that's good.
So we're live.
Perfect.
It's a little weird. It's a little tilted.
Yeah, just a little. Maybe your left side go down a little. That I think a little better. I think that's a little straighter.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
I think that chair might be crooked because now that looks way straighter.
Yeah, the chairs. Let's see if it's all. There's somebody in here watching already. That's good.
Okay, and are we all ready to go, Mom?
Hey. Yes,
I think
we're all
so.
ready to go.
Excellent, okay. Excuse me.
Good morning. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hey, morning. Oh, I've got a, there's a student on there.
Oh, nice.
They just sent a text, good morning. That's nice.
Yeah. And during the summer too.
Yeah, during this, so I post a lot on, I'll tell you the story. So I post a lot on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, a lot of my students follow and things like that. So I have a cousin. It's a second, so his grandmother's my aunt, so my second cousin, his grandma, so my aunt called me up and said, listen, I want you to talk to your cousin, because this guy, I don't know what's wrong with him, he's always in the basement, he's always streaming, so he streams on Twitch and on things.
Yeah.
So she's like, look, his grades aren't good, we need to talk to him. And what I want you to do is try to convince him to change his major from marketing to accounting. So then I call him up, I talk to him, and then he has me looking at his streams and stuff. And then I say, hey, let's do a video. So he comes on my YouTube and does a video. And then my mom tells my aunt, it's like, wait, and then my aunt's upset, like, wait a minute, I thought you were supposed to convince him to change his name, now you're making videos and stuff, so it was funny. But he's still a marketing major, but he's doing better, and he got an internship, thank goodness, so,
Yeah.
But he's still on, streaming and doing, and doing those things, so.
That's a big thing now, though. If there's money there, you can make it work.
It is, so that was a hard thing to kind of say, because he's like, he reached some level on Twitch where he's a certain streamer
Yeah.
and I have to say streamer because I'm not a content creator, I'm a streamer. There's a difference. I'm like, okay,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, it's a big thing. So it's funny. So I'm wondering who that is messaging.
With mine, it could go either way. Either be really good that they joined or a little bad.
Oh, yeah, you know, I got so many stuff. So I have an Instagram too, and then so I post some of the videos on Instagram. And one of my students in accounting classes last semester, he follows me on it, so I see him. You know, when you post a story, so I see that he's looking. And then the last, I want to say 2 weeks, he wasn't coming to class, but he'd be in there on Instagram looking at my posts. So I see him in there, and the week before we have finals, we have something called exam breakfast. So all of the faculty,
No, but it sounds like a great idea.
well, the faculty and administration, we go in and serve the students breakfast until like midnight. So I was in there with my wife, we were serving pancakes, and guess who comes in? And he sees me in there, and he's trying to dodge me and run away, and he finally came over, and I said, you come to class? He said, yeah, professor, I'll be there. Because I'm like, I see you every day on the Instagram. So we had a laugh.
Somebody mentioned something yesterday, you guys may know the answer to this. There's a guy that can answer. Good morning, Jonathan, yes?
Yes, good morning.
Is there a fee to make videos on YouTube?
No.
There's not one, do you have to make your own channel or something?
Yeah, but all you have to do is set up have a Google Gmail account.
Okay, that's it.
That's it, and you start uploading.
Easy peasy.
Yeah,
Do you have any experience with something called VidGrid? That's what we use. But I know, I'm comfortable with YouTube. I just didn't know if there was a fee to manufacture videos.
No.
Okay, thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
I think you can upload your VidGrid videos to
Good morning.
YouTube as well. You've already
Probably.
recorded them on there, so.
Does anybody need the sign-in sheet? I can just bring it in here.
I'm good.
Like
You know, I'm interested in learning.
Oh, what time is it?
8:30.
8:30.
Oh, it's 8:30, okay, well, thank you.
There were still quite a few people at breakfast, so I don't know if people will.
Yeah, I think they're.
I probably have to get them to get out quick.
Yeah, it's
A
not.
couple.
It's fine, we'll get started. So, thank you everybody for coming, to the presentation. This is exciting to be in person again, see everyone, and it's my birthday. So it's a
Woo!
double,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
thank you. So it's a double, a dose of goodness there. This session will be interactive, so I just keep that in mind. So if you got your phone, so hopefully you have your phone, make sure you connect to the Wi-Fi, if you got your laptop, tablet, so that way you can participate. So bulk of it will be doing an activity. So my name's Imfan Akhan. I am Assistant Professor of Accounting at Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Before that, so I'm gonna give you the background. Before I was there at Methodist, before I was at Methodist, I was a professor here in Savannah at SCAD. So I worked for 2 years at SCAD. So just keep that in mind. So you'll see where we're going with that, with our activity. So today, we're gonna talk about virtual reality, the metaverse. So you may hear a lot about the metaverse. We're gonna go over that real quickly. We're going to have an activity and talk about a platform called Verbella Frames. So, and that's a bulk of our time will be in Verbella Frames or looking at Verbella Frames here. So that would be, and then we'll switch back to answer any questions or comments or things you have about it. So, has anyone? So let me just try to check the temperature. Has anyone used virtual reality? Is familiar? What was your experience with virtual?
I have not used it in the classroom, that was the question, so I've just used it, yeah.
Our school is just adopting virtual reality. That's why I'm here today, to learn as much as possible.
Gotcha, good.
And we have a learning team that is starting to develop some of our CBE products, and I'm trying to push them to develop things I can give to faculty for free.
Good, very good, that's
Just,
good,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, we did a new student orientation scavenger hunt. I believe it's spatial.
Yes,
I don't-
yes.
Yeah, so they were able to use their phones to kind of find things on the scavenger hunt. So
Yes, yeah, so that's good. So when you hear about the virtual reality, you talk about the metaverse, these things are tied together. So when you think about virtual reality or the metaverse, you have these environments. So you have these virtual environments, they could be what they call CG, computer generated, or they could be created with real life images or videos. What we're gonna focus on today is what they call web VR. So Shelby, you mentioned the platform Spatial, which is a newer one. So and what's funny is this platform we're looking at was released in 2019, so it's considered old. And then Spatial, which the company's out of New York, they developed their platform, and that's kind of a little newer. So there's many different types of platforms where you can use web VR, and you can access them for free. So they have the general accounts where you can get in and access them for free. So the great thing about it with Verbella, and yeah, I'll just give you the whole back. What drew me to Verbella Frames, number one, the platform was created by a professor. So it was created by a professor in California. It developed to a company. So there's two pieces to this. There's Verbella, the virtual office space business. So and I said, and I hope I'm saying that right. Virtual office space business. What they do, they rent out office space to companies, and to universities. So MIT rents spaces in this virtual world, and they have virtual office spaces. So instead of employees meeting in Zoom, they meet virtually in various rooms in this Verbella world. So EXP Realty, you've got the Royal Bank of Scotland, Rio Tinto, they all use Verbella. Now, the creator of this, being an educator, has another platform, which is Verbella Frames, and that's what we're gonna look at. And that's geared toward education. It's geared toward education. And what's neat about it is you can get into it's pretty easy to use, pretty easy. If you play video games, has anyone played a computer-based PC video game? Okay. And what's funny, the first time, so when I decided to use Verbella, and I'll give you the backstory. If you go back, you remember 2019, everything was fine, then 2020 we go into lockdown. At that time, I'm here in Savannah at SCAD, and I'm thinking of a way, how can I engage my students? So to give you the idea, SCAD, our classes are 2.5 hours twice a week, right? So I'm gonna show you actually a lesson. We're gonna go through a lesson for one of my actual classes. So you'll see how I was using it, what I put in there. But once we moved to Zoom, I had to think about, what am I gonna do? I've gotta have these students for 2.5 hours on Zoom. There's gotta be something else to kind of keep things going. So I decided to work with Verbella. And I was nervous because I was concerned the students wouldn't be able to figure out how to navigate in it. So I over-prepared in ways to explain this, to go through that with the students. And the first day I rolled it out, within seconds, everybody was inside of it. They were all moving around and doing different things. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I had to ask them, I'm like, this isn't hard for you. He's like, no, it's just like a video game. It's like a PC game. So that's why I was asking that question. So we'll go through it. So there's a lot of moving parts. So there may be some frustration, we'll walk through it and get you in the best we can. I'm not gonna be able to, I'm gonna give a disclaimer, I'm not gonna be able to show everything or go through, because there's a lot of different features, a lot of different things that you can do with this. But I'll do my best to give you an overview. And the idea is, one, you see how it works, you get a chance to use it, you see how I use it in actual class, and hopefully it'll give you some ideas. So you may say, hey, this is something I think I could use in class, or maybe, you know what, this might not work. You know, maybe there's another solution, so you walk away with something. So what we're gonna do, the way you access frames, so there's a couple of ways. If you have your laptop or tablet, I recommend you getting on your laptop or tablet. And if you're getting in on your laptop and tablet, join in as a participant. You can also go to that link in your browser. So this is our specific link. This is the link for my course. So I give this link to my students for them to join in. You can also join in spectator mode. What's the difference? Spectator mode, you're inside the environment. You can look around and move around, but you don't have an avatar. You can't, you're inside, but you're not fully participating with your avatar. We can't see you, you're invisible. That's basically what happens. And if you join in on your phone in spectator, you'll see there'll be a blue circle. There should be a blue circle. That's like a joystick. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a joystick. And that joystick, it'll allow you to move forward, back, left, and right. And if you want to kind of change your view, perspective, you use your fingers and you can move around that. Now, if you're on your computer, and you join in to participate, you'll create your avatar. And you'll get into the environment. You'll create your avatar. And you can decide hair color, skin, if you want to be a human avatar, robot avatar, so you can decide how you want to look. So it gives you some freedom with that. Now it's not as advanced as spatial, where it scans your face and things like that, but you can create your own avatar. Has everyone are you able to get in with the
I am, but mine keeps crashing.
it keeps crashing? Are you in on the Wi-Fi here?
Probably.
Wonder if the Wi-Fi is weak in this back room right now.
So I got somebody in here.
I'm in here.
Okay, Shelby's in here.
Can you put the link back up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the link. It's, you can type in framevr.io /busy in your browser. Shelby, are you using the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I'm on the Wi-Fi, it's working okay.
I mean, the conference. Yeah. So, to your point, I have a free account. It allows for 15 active participants, 15 spectators, so that's 30 to kind of be inside the environment. The other good thing, you can have individuals to view. So you can just watch the screen and see what you're doing. Do you need me to keep the link up?
Well, it's giving me about 6 options of which one to choose from now. One just says Frame VR, would that work?
Let me see, the bottom, you should have a box and it should say spectator. Let's see. What's the passcode?
I think first is well, not the. Oh, so yeah, connect.
Attending.
Oh,
Like,
Here.
yours can open now.
take that dot.
Yeah, look, yeah, I heard him say all that.
Take that.
PowerPoint down.
Here.
last night, but
Take it out,
Or was charged
it's
tonight.
all one.
the spread it was still there this morning.
Good. Okay. You go ahead, I don't want everyone waiting on me, I'll try to catch up with
No,
you.
we want to get everybody, I got two, so, okay, we got somebody in there. So we got Shelby in there. So, were you able to get it, was anybody else able to get in there? You were?
My thing is still running.
Well, no worries. We can follow along. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in there. I see it. There's, okay. So I got Shelby in there. So I'm over by the, I'm in the corner room. And I'm by the, you should see me by,
I saw somebody running.
that's Shelby. Shelby is running. I'm over here in the corner.
Let's see, I see a red person.
You should see me with the beard.
I don't see it.
I'm over by the
I know
corner.
where you are. Shelby.
So if you can, I can kind of force you to join me, but you can come over, you can move around, but I want to just show you some features. So this is what in frames they call this a scene. So you can choose, there's various environments that you can choose to put in your scene. And what's, I think is pretty neat with frames is that you can create in your frames, they call it a frame, your environment. So in this case, it's a class. You can create as many of these scenes as you want. So I've created 8 scenes and we're in scene 1. So inside scene 1, and I can move between the various scenes. Now to kind of give you a little tour of the environment, if you look, let's see, let me move a little bit closer. If you see this box here, it allows you to live stream. So I can live stream and have my video from my computer or my device there inside the environment. So I can live stream from there. The other thing in this particular environment that I want to show you, if you walk around, you see these, if you can see these blue dotted lines, if you see these blue dotted lines, those are breakout spaces. So if you're familiar with Zoom, how Zoom has breakout rooms, these are breakout spaces. And what that means is that you can, participants can go inside these spaces and have private conversations. And the rest of the environment of the room, we can't hear what you're talking about. So you can speak amongst yourselves, as long as you're in one of these spaces. So when you go in the space and you know you're in the space, the dotted line goes from blue to green, and you'll hear a little noise. And you go in there, you can have your private conversations, and then you can come out. So if you think about your class, you can send your students into different groups and into spaces, and they can have conversations, they can come back out, and you can discuss, right? So, the other thing, you move around in here. If you're on your computer, just to give you the kind of the layout with the controls, the W key and the S key. So W moves forward, S moves back, Q moves left, E moves right, and then A to the side and D to the side. And if you use the W and then the forward key, it makes you kind of run inside of here, so you can run around. So I see the Shelby's.
We can't see you for some reason in there.
Oh, you don't see me?
I can see Jan, but I can't see
And I get the
you.
same page,
Like I should be looking right at you, but you're not there.
but I don't see,
Let me
I
refresh.
see you, and
Yeah,
then
I
I don't
can
see
see you.
myself.
Oh, well, it's because it's in like first.
First, okay,
Yeah.
got it, that's what, all right, good.
so you're like a orange
Yeah.
robot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see me
I need
now?
to change my
I'm right
settings.
behind you, Shelby.
Oh, yeah, I can see you now.
Okay. So, what I wanted to do was to walk you through, we're not going to do all of the activities that I would do in the class, because they're set up to be 2.5 hours, but we're gonna kind of just breeze through some of these scenes, and this should take us through our time today. So this first scene, or this first environment, you'll notice, you'll see those papers in there. So I don't know if you can, Jan, Sheldon, you can move around, I'm gonna go to them. Those are the core syllabi for this particular class. So what I do, I have the students break them up, put them into teams, and have them to go and find certain things on the course syllabus. So, and I'm gonna go here, so for everybody in the room. So if you notice, you can move around. It turned green, so I'm in the breakout space. There you are, Shelly.
So is
Right
it kind
on
of
the
like a
objects.
scavenger hunt then? They just have to move around and look?
It's a scavenger hunt, but once you get to it, so you can, as an individual, you'll see the course syllabus here. You can click on it and make it bigger, and you can access it and look at it, move it around, or you can, in the environment, you can move closer to it, you can, yeah, you can look at it. So they work as, we're in, oh, hey. If you wanna participate in
Sure, what do I need to do?
here, let me go back.
I'm sorry, if it's a problem, I don't have.
No,
No,
no worries.
it's quick and easy, you're fine.
Yeah, you're good.
You're trying to use the Wi-Fi.
Are you gonna use
for-
your computer?
I don't think it'll work.
Oh, the Wi-Fi is not working?
None of us three are able to get in.
I actually
I
did.
have the super duper Wi-Fi,
You have
because,
the super
I've got
duper.
our ass and Dave had for the super duper Wi-Fi, so, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a-
Yeah, it says my connection is too slow.
Oh, wow.
I wonder,
The-
oh, you're trying on your phone too? I don't know, I'm on Wi-Fi, but I do not have the super duper Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Okay.
Are you on the Wi-Fi for the conference?
Yeah, the Tactyc one, that's
Yeah.
what I'm using.
What's
Yeah.
the password for that?
The password
It's, is it Tactyc?
Tactic
This one
202.
says something else. This one said, well, maybe it's that. This one says 0522 Encore.
Oh, maybe this room has specific Wi-Fi then.
Yeah, could be.
Try that.
That's a war.
Just come stand really close to me, maybe you can connect to the Wi-Fi.
So if you're going to join in on your phone, in your browser, make sure this is all one word, framevr.io/busy. If you're on your computer, it's a little bit better, or tablet. If you're on your phone, I would go in as a spectator. Just go in and spectate. It'll ask you, it'll give you two options. I click the bottom one as a spectator. You'll be inside, but you'll be invisible.
I bet your students really like that this is different than just sitting in like a Zoom room too.
Yeah, they did. They enjoyed, they look forward to it. We didn't do it every class, so we would be in here once a week. But yeah, they look forward to it. I would know that they're actually in there.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead of just a
because-
black screen.
Yeah, instead of the screen, because we couldn't have our students turn on their cameras and things like that. So I know they're there, they're moving around and things like that. So really the big thing was to kind of get them under control inside the inside here, because they would be moving around and doing different things and writing on the boards and stuff like that. So All right, so there, is everybody set? Do I need, can I take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay, so what I was showing for those of you who came in, we're in an environment, we're in the first scene. This is the course syllabus. So I would have the students break out in groups. Okay, great, so we've got 4. So I have the students break out in groups. You can run up on the syllabus, you can click on it, it will come up on your screen. So you can see it a lot bigger, move it around, or you can interact with it inside of the actual environment. So this would be an orientation exercise. I would give them, so initially I would give them 5 to 10 minutes to kind of move around and to run around inside to do different things to get used to the environment and how it works, and then we would come back into an activity. So, but yeah, it was, they really enjoyed it. The other thing is, initially when I used this, we would be on, we would be on, in frames, so we'd be in this platform, then I would share my screen in Zoom, so I'd have some students in Zoom, so some students did not want to get on at all, and they just watch, so they'd spectate and see what was going on. The other thing, as far as the group activities, the ones that were inside, they can chat inside the platform, or they can chat with each other in Zoom. So if I split them up into teams, and some of their teammates didn't want to get in for whatever reason, they could still communicate through Zoom, through the chat, and talk to each other, and still see everything that's going on. So they could still participate. So that was something that was pretty neat. I'm gonna switch scenes. So I've gone. So I changed the scenes. If you're in here and you move around and go back up to the front part, you'll see a poll. So I added a poll in here. I might have clicked on it earlier. So if you go in here, if you're familiar with the poll feature, and you can take the poll, you just click on it and you can answer the poll. But you can add a poll, just like the feature you have in Zoom where you add polls. You can add a poll feature. The other thing that you might notice in here, oh, who is that? Okay, there's John. So you might notice in here, you see this giant whiteboard. So this is a whiteboard where I give a lecture. So I would talk about sales, and I'd write things. I'd have the students come up to the board and write things and work and do things on the board. So that was something, another feature that you can add. So you can add whiteboards, it can be interactive. And with this, with each of the scenes, what I think the challenge is, you have to kind of plan out what you want to do ahead of time. So in other words, you have to build out, okay, I'm gonna use one scene, I'm gonna have this activity in there. Then for the next scene, I'm gonna have this activity. You have to kind of think through how you're gonna have it set up. And what am I gonna do to keep them from running all around and doing different things and keep them engaged inside of another environment. Now it does have a feature which I would use quite often, where you can click, and so if people are talking too much, I can mute everybody inside the environment. And if they're moving around too much, it's a gather to me, it pulls everybody in the environment to where you are. So if no one's coming, I can bring them all, force everybody to come around and get together. So, the other feature you have is this board where I can project my voice, everyone hears it in the environment. So I'm broadcasting over everything. So let's see, any questions? So if you have any questions or anything, let me know.
Is this kind of like the metaverse where you can only hear the people that are closest to you if you're not using that projection? Like where if I run and get close to you and I'm talking, like you can hear me, but people that are far away wouldn't be able to hear you unless you push the button to make them hear you? Does that make sense?
If, I get what you're saying. No, it's not like that. If you have if you have this phone on and everybody else is muted, you kind of override everyone. So
Okay.
you're kind of the voice over everything. If you have your microphone on, then we can hear you. If you're in those spaces, so
Right.
if you're in, let's go to one of these.
Oh, if you're not in one of those like little rooms.
Yeah, if you're not in, and for those of you who came in, if you see these lines, these blue dotted lines, these are breakout spaces, similar to breakout rooms in Zoom. So to answer your question, so if you got your mic on, so let's say you have your mic on, Millicent has her mic on, and you go into that space, it's gonna turn green, and the rest of the room can't hear you. You're speaking amongst yourselves, right? So we can't hear you, yes?
I'm on my phone,
Okay.
and should I be seeing what is on the screen?
You have to pick to enter. I can see your menu.
Yeah, you said they cannot.
Yeah, you have to click connect and then you'll be in.
I did that.
And now you're in.
Okay, I was looking at my little.
That's exactly what happens to me, I get to.
What happened?
Yeah.
Should I just get kicked out?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's
I think the
exactly-
internet connection
And
is
so I
bad here.
did the spectating.
Yeah, yeah. There you
It
go.
goes in for a second.
But then
and
she
then
kicks it.
It kicks me
Oh,
back out.
so they got in and then it kicked you out.
I think it's
So
the-
he's in.
I did.
I am that, and I've lost connection, so.
Yeah, I don't have that many.
Are you on the Wi-Fi? So I think I put the Wi-Fi, I'm not sure if that's.
I'm on the Wi-Fi and it's not working. We can try it.
I'm on the.
They keep saying it's too slow.
downstairs.
Mhm.
I tried that one.
Could you show us a little bit how you would run a class then in there, like how you would?
Yeah, show us how you do
That.
that.
All right. So I'm gonna take you to, so we're in one environment, I'm gonna switch us to another environment. So I'll show you that. Sorry, you're not able to, get into
No, this is great, just watching you though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather just watch you than show us.
Mhm.
Now, and also, how did you create your professor account and all of
how did I,
that? Yeah, how did you set all this up for your students?
oh, okay, so you go to Frame, VR, so if you have a Gmail, it'll let you sign in with your Gmail, and you with one click, if you have a Gmail, you've got your account set up. So you do it one click, or you create your own user ID and password with, Verbella, and then you have your account, or you can sign in through Facebook, and I think there's one more you can sign, and kind of single sign in.
I guess my question though is, how did you, once your students sign in, how did you, is there a way that, like, you're the professor, there's students that can't mess
Oh,
with,
yeah,
they
so,
can't mess with the stuff?
yeah, I'm the administrator, so it's a good,
Yeah,
great
that's
question.
the administrator, yeah.
Yeah, so there's different settings that you have here where, I'm the administrator of this, frame. I've also created a link, so I would go into edit mode and I would have, there's different levels of authorization. So for example, for this, for us, I made the link open. you could also password protect the link. So if you get the link, you would need a password to get in there and to activate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, that was a good question. Also, you can have it so if you want the students to work or have activities in here without you, they have the link and you can set up a notification so you can get a text or an email when someone goes into the room. So you can have students to work in here without you, so they can be in here and do different, but when they go in, whatever so right now I have it set on scene 3. So if they go in, I would have it set on a specific scene. So they wouldn't be able to move around and go to different rooms. They wouldn't be able to change things inside, but you can have various activities for them to do in here. So this one, to give you an idea, so I put PowerPoint. So in the first one you saw, we had some, we had the PDF, we had the PDF, we had the poll, and then we had the whiteboard. In here, we've got the PowerPoint. So in this one, I have them moving around, and this is a business course. We talk about business, I talk about sole proprietorship. So to answer your question, I go in, I give a lecture. So I talk through the various forms of business, and I have them move around. So in this conference room, I have them in here, the sole proprietorship. I think in the other one, in this room, we walk over, we come in, we talk about corporations. So I come in and give a lecture. And then
So when you talk about giving a lecture, I apologize, is
No,
your
no,
avatar
come on,
like
this
in
is
front
good.
of the room lecturing or,
Yeah.
or is it just you voicing over the PowerPoint?
my avatar is it. So if you're in here, you
Yeah.
see my avatar with my beard and everything. I'm moving around. I can get my laser pointer and go over different points that I would want to talk about.
So they're following you around the room like a group tour you would take through Rome or something?
I would take them to each room.
You take them, okay,
Yeah,
they
I
follow
have-
you around, okay.
Yeah, they would follow me
Oh.
around. So I would have them to follow me around. So they come into this conference room. They come in the conference room.
Which is great if you're trying to fill 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is.
50 minutes, I don't know.
So that's me. You know, there's my laser pointer, so I can get in there and use my laser pointer if I wanted to emphasize certain things. That's my avatar. So I'd be in there and they would see me.
Can they also, like, become the host or the presenter? Can you give them that?
When you say
Like
administrative,
in Zoom, you can turn over the administrative, like someone else can become the presenter and they can talk. And
well, they can all talk,
They
so
can
all
all
of them can talk anytime.
So they could go ahead and give a presentation.
Yeah, if I ask one of them to come up, yeah, definitely. I don't know who's in, well, I guess there's nobody in here now, Shelby left, but yeah, I can ask you to come up and I can ask you, what do you think? Why don't you talk about that, why don't you, I can have them go into different areas and do different activities. So the difference is with the administrative role, that means they're not able to, I'm the only one who's able to take those PowerPoints out. I'm the only one, I can add web page, so there's other things I can do.
Okay.
So on the fly, if I wanted to, I could go on the web and add a web page in here and everybody will see it.
Nice.
I could upload
So you can put
PDF.
a financial statement or something and
Yeah.
go, yeah, what's the stock market doing right now? Or, you know.
Yes, so I would be able to pull things up, they wouldn't be able to do that. I haven't tried that because from my experience, it kind of gets a little, like I said, it gets a little wild. So if you notice, I started moving from a bigger venue, so then I started using a little smaller environment, and that kind of keeps everybody together because everybody will just be running around and moving around. And they'll have a good old time, you know? So, speaking of which,
I'm back in right now.
are you back in good?
Yeah, I was taking notes, but, I hopped out.
I moved us to another one. So and just to show you, in the settings, you can create your link for your course, so this is the link. If I want it password protected, I can. I'm gonna switch back to the Expo. So you're seeing a little bit extra, because normally I wouldn't switch like this in the class. We start the class and everyone would go into the environment. I think in here. So in this one, I think, and you wanted to see some more of the assignments. So I think you can see in the background, I think everybody knows who that is. And I don't know if you know who that guy is on the left.
What?
So we got Elon Musk in here, and we've got Walt Disney. So what I would have students do, so you see here, so I guess you were wondering some of the things that you can do. So I have the students split into 3 groups, have them go online and look up, okay, how did Elon Musk start in business? So, and then what businesses do they have? What are some key facts that you can pull up and then discuss? So they're in groups, they go online, they're in here discussing either amongst themselves in the chat or, you know, on Zoom chat for those who aren't participating. Then what they do, they go in and they write on the board. So I know you, Jan, you can get in there and write on the board if you want. So they write things on the board, and then after they finish writing it on the board, then they share out. So we go in and share out. So I say group 1. Okay, what did you put, why did you put it there? Then the other students can ask questions. So it's a group act. I like the heart. So it's a group activity. The other thing, so that's the other reason why I try to contain things, because if I have a lot of stuff, the students will get in there and they'll start drawing and moving things. I've disabled the laser pointer, so you have them doing the laser pointer and moving stuff around. So, but I try to keep them together, and I try to make sure, so the other thing that I mentioned about you have to really plan things out, is kind of have it planned out, so you know what they're gonna do, so they move through it, so there's no space. Yes, Lisa?
I was just curious, have you ever used this, do you use only online or have you used it in class?
Well, this is for class.
For class, oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it's for class.
okay.
So I've used this, so good question. So I used this initially when we were during lockdowns, and so on Zoom, and then when we had what they call high flex, it was great because in that way, I'd have the students in the room, and then the students that aren't there, they're able to get together and work together.
Yeah, okay.
So
So it's gonna be great for a virtual type.
and both
So
of them.
if I hit clear, as I'm saying, will that clear your writing as well as mine?
Yeah, it should clear, yeah.
It'll clear yours as well.
It should clear.
You'd probably tell them, don't hit clear,
Yeah.
just the eraser.
No, your heart is yours.
I'm sorry.
Just got rid of your heart.
Oh, I use the eraser to do that.
Oh,
Yeah, you
said
can erase it.
Clear button, I just wondered if I hit clear.
Yeah, you'll clear, yeah.
It clears yours
Yeah, and that's happened
Yeah,
before.
okay, got it.
And I had to put it in there again.
I just wanna hit it as a erase off this stuff, yeah.
You know, so there's things, you know, there's logistical things with this. You have to think about, okay, one thing I didn't think about, who's gonna be the scribe, so then I'll, you know, assign or have them assign somebody to be the scribe in the team, how many teams, how many members in the team, and then thinking through, okay, if I have a certain amount of students who are on Zoom, who aren't in there, they're still able to get in the chat with the other students. So to kind of think through those things, and they can tell them their ideas and what they wanna share as well, so.
Yeah, but what a great idea to use their devices so they're not on Facebook and Instagram and everything else.
Yeah, that
I
was.
mean, let's be honest, at least you're getting,
Yeah.
doing something, at least they're playing around in something they could even use in the future, and you're kind of showing them that that's what business is about, like, you try new things and it may not work, but you keep trying.
Yeah, that was, at least that was good, that was the big thing, because at this time when I was using it, I was telling everybody, our classes at SCAD, they meet twice a week for 2.5 hours. So, when we went to Zoom, I had to try to think, well, I'm gonna have these for 2.5 hours, what are we gonna do, And this class met on Mondays and Wednesdays, from 2 o'clock to 4:30, so, had to try to figure something out. So, and they enjoyed this. They enjoyed it surprisingly. And I think someone was asking about the financial statements. So this is another activity where I had them to go to, inside the room. So I split them up in groups. I guess Jen, I'll have you go do it. So you can go, so I have one group go inside here, there's financial statements, Facebook. They've got to go and find the Q2 net income for Facebook. Same thing for Snapchat, and then same thing for Twitter. So they move around, and then they look at and I'll show you in a second, the financials, and they come back and report back what they found and what it looked like, and discuss it. So I think I have.
This one doesn't have the clear button, it's grayed out, so I think you must have done something with it.
Yeah, I don't want you to.
Yeah, of course you don't want.
So I got.
It takes a while and stuff. I don't want.
So I've got Snapchat there. I think that's Snap. And then if you have to kind of move around and do, I guess who was saying it's a scavenger hunt. So you have to scavenger hunt for the other ones. There's, what is it? I've got Twitter. Twitter is here.
Oh, so they're in the room, got it.
Yeah, they're in the room and you're able to,
It's fun.
there's Twitter and
You're
then.
not to get dizzy watching it.
What? I'm moving a little bit
You're moving pretty
fast.
fast, that's okay.
And then there's Facebook.
Wow. Great way to keep it engaged.
So
I keep getting walls and.
so they can move around and so like I was saying,
Students would be much better at this than we are.
Oh, hell.
Lisa, that's what I was saying. I was so worried when I was first
I
gonna do this. When I was first, I said I'm gonna use this, I was so nervous. I'm like, they're not gonna figure it out. And then immediately when I gave that link, it was just, they were all inside, moving all around. And then I asked them, I said, well, was it easy to figure out? They're like, yeah, it's like a PC game. The way the controller.
I was saying, my daughter, she would be all over this, and she's 20,
Use
so.
her with a mouse.
Yeah, probably, but they don't, I have my pencil, I mean, I wonder if you have to help me. Here I can help everybody else. I wonder.
So you have a video on.
All that stuff, I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. Very cool. I think in accounting, like your principal's courses, you have management, marketing, and we just talked about how we have all these students that aren't accountants.
Yeah.
What a way to engage them.
Right, yeah,
I mean,
we're working, at
Our
SK.
marketing people could be the head of the group, and, you could kind of place them in.
Well, we're working on it's a presentation we have to high school students that talks about conversion accounting and such, but benefits of it. We're putting it into a augmented reality virtual thing. So I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm just thinking this.
This would be awesome.
It's like collect fires or, you can have them
Badges.
there's a way they can collect badges as they complete activities. But I don't know if anywhere in this session, I've heard them, so I didn't go this time. Extra credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to time, but I wanted to, we went through, you've seen the PDF, so I've had the syllabus, you've seen PowerPoints, you've seen the poll, you've seen the whiteboard, you've seen how to add financial statements. In this scene, so I've moved to another scene where we have a video, so you can add video in here. We can watch it together, student, you can go and click on it, you can watch it yourself. So each individual can come in and click on the video and watch it, fast forward it. It's about a 3-minute video. So I've got the video where he's discussing the business model canvas. I've also have a PowerPoint where we go in and we talk about it. So we have an actual canvas in here. And this environment is called a school canvas. So we've got an actual business model canvas that they can look at, and then I have them do an activity afterwards on the whiteboard in here. The other thing that I want to say, and then I'm going to I guess I'm going to transition, so if there's any questions. The other thing with this is that all of these things that you see in here can be added on the fly. So, you know, if you wanted to add another, if I wanted to add another video, or I wanted to add another PowerPoint or something in there, you can click and add it to the environment. I'm a little bit planful. I prefer to kind of have everything laid out and not do things on the fly, but you have that option to keep adding things. And as was mentioned before, about asking about the levels of authority, you can give students administrative rights where they can add things and go into the
So
platform.
is there a way to have them collect badges or collect something, you know, as, like, for instance, you watch that video, it somehow holds on to that for them, you know, or you would know that they watched the video. And at the end of watching the video, they get some sort of badge or
Well, you can throw happy faces at them.
Right.
So you can shoot happy faces at them, or thumbs up, or you can shoot hearts at them. So they have that feature. They can't collect them, but you can give it to them. You can give it to them.
Because mostly if they would have it where they can collect them, so that then you would know at the end of a session, you know, I don't know, extra credit for people who offer that, or, you know, just, you know, you can, like, there was someone who presented here, as I said, I didn't go at this session, but I've seen her present at other, but we were chatting downstairs where, you know, they have a system set up, you take your exam, you know, 30 minutes early, or, you know, they have a system of rewards for doing things. And I was
Gotcha.
wondering if there's a way to, it may not be in there now, but that would be a cool thing. they could
Yes, it
incorporate.
would, it would. They don't have that in there now, but yeah, that would. I'm gonna
Do you have a monitor
Oh,
here?
it's time, sorry.
yeah, she had to leave early, Shelley.
Okay. Okay, cause it's 9:22
Yeah,
now.
sorry.
Right.
Quick
Thank
question.
you.
Wait.
Everyone, don't forget to complete your evaluation.
Okay.
And, want to thank you for.
Thank you, that was, the most unique presentation I've seen so far. So
I know.
that was great.